Hi to all and welcome to the GT5K podcast. I'm delighted that I am joined here by Maeve Montgomery of the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, who is a dementia advisor, and Greg O'Shea, who many of you may know as the Love Island winner for 2019, but probably primarily is a sports star and a full-time athlete, having represented Ireland in athletics and currently in the rugby sevens. I am Sinead Donovan, a partner in Granthornton, but also a somewhat part-time runner, swimmer and cycler. Greg is the ambassador for the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, and he also is an ambassador for our GT5K run. And the run this year is it's in our 9th year, but this year, due to the COVID situation, is going to be a virtual run. You can register your 5K over the weekend of the 14th to the 16th of August. We are wanting as many people as possible to sign up. Not only to have the fitness and physical benefits of the run, the social benefits of the run, the mental benefits of the run, but more importantly, to raise money for the Alzheimer's Society. So, guys, you're very welcome and thank you so much for your time. Greg, I might turn to you in the first instance. You're an ambassador for the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, and not many people may know, but I believe this is a cause very personal to you.
Yeah, so I've been an ambassador for Alzheimer's Society of Ireland for just under a year now. So it's when I came out of Love Island, as you mentioned, and got a bit of a profile. As many people would do, you kind of link yourself with charities that mean something to you. So Alzheimer's is close to my heart. My grandmother actually passed away right in the middle of when I was in Love Island, and I was only in there for a wet week, and she unfortunately happened to pass away while I was there. So ITV very kindly let me leave the show. I had 2 bodyguards brought me all the way back to Ireland, and I buried her, and then they said you can stay at home if you want, but then my family were obviously like, what are you doing? You're going to watch Love Island anyway with us, so get back in there, like, do you know what I mean? So I went back in and ended up winning the show, and I got a following from it. So best way to use it, I felt, was get involved in Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, who have let me kindly be an ambassador, and that brought me towards being a GT5K ambassador as well. So it all links in very nicely.
Brilliant, brilliant. And look, apologies and condolences on your granny. How important is it for you that dementia gets this kind of public profile and awareness? And what benefit is it to everybody?
Yeah, so being completely honest, I didn't really realize the impact of dementia on people until I personally witnessed myself. So my grandmother lived by herself all the way up until she passed away at like 82 years old, I think it was. And just in the last couple of months, she just deteriorated crazy. Like, she went from being an independent woman, did everything for herself, to visiting her, and I had to hold her basically like a baby in her arms, and in my arms, she could barely speak to me. She barely recognized who I was, and I was like, this disease is mad. Like, do you know what I mean? It just eats away at people's brains, and it's very sad, but you could tell inside she was still there, and she wanted to talk to you at certain stages. But so that kind of really got to me emotionally, and I was like, I realized then is it 50,000 people in Ireland that are struggling with dementia, and there's very poor support systems just because there's not enough funding there for them. And families like my own family are struggling to financially support the person with dementia. So I was like, I need to get involved here. I need to help out. And Alzheimer's are doing a great job, but they need more donations. And especially now with COVID, like, everyone's taking a hit, but obviously this is just a personal one to me. So if people can donate to Alzheimer's and get involved in GT5K, which is a healthy way for yourself to get involved and donate, it would be amazing.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Maeve, maybe we'll go to you now. Maeve, just in 2 or 3 minutes, and I know this may not be possible, but Alzheimer's, dementia, they're kind of interchangeable terms. Could you give us just the background to the illness?
It's the most commonly asked question when I give talks. I quite often give talks to groups, and it's the most commonly asked question. What is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? And dementia is the umbrella term. If you look at, we have a lovely slide with a coloured umbrella, like a golf umbrella. And under that, then you have different types of dementia. And Alzheimer's disease is the most common. So that's why I always compare it to vacuum cleaners and hoovers. It doesn't matter what you have. You could have an Ilfisk or a Dyson, but you're hoovering the floor. So we're trying to interchange names. So dementia is the umbrella term, and Alzheimer's disease is the most common of those conditions. But there's lots and lots and lots of different ones. Vascular dementia, for example, is the second most common. And then we would have more rare ones. So there would be Lewy body's dementia, which is similar to, there's characteristics of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. And then we would have things like frontotemporal lobe dementia. And then there's lots and lots and lots of different ones which would be more rare down along. But Alzheimer's is the most common, so people interchange Alzheimer's and dementia as a term.
Okay, that's very helpful. And Maeve, Greg mentioned there his grandmother had it, and he witnessed her. I suppose I think Greg said quite a rapid decline.
Yes.
I'm going through the journey at the moment with my father, and what I'm beginning to learn is that I don't think it's a one size fits all. I think Alzheimer's impacts people at a different pace, at a different rate. Is that, and I think that's where you really step in to help both the sufferers and the families?
Yes, that's very important. That what we say in the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland is, if you meet one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia, because one size doesn't fit all. And everybody's journey is different. We're all individuals. You could have someone who develops dementia and it goes very slowly. You can meet someone and they are diagnosed with dementia and their journey is very rapid and they decline very rapidly. But you can't say, well, Mommy had it, therefore I know what it's going to be like, because her journey may be very different from someone else's journey, you know. And I suppose we have to, and it's very important to respect people as individuals as well. So, you know, their own history and their health history, their mental history may have an effect. Just because somebody might have mental health issues, you mentioned mental health issues there. You may have a mental health issue and then develop dementia, and that might affect the course of their journey. They may have had other physical illnesses, and that might, you know, influence the path of their journey as well. They may become physically disabled, but that might be because of other underlying health conditions also. So there are, you know, we have to take every individual case as an individual case.
And the type of support that you would typically give to sufferers or their families, can you outline just maybe some of the typical assistance you might give?
Right, okay, well in normal times, of course, the first thing, the person would be referred to me and I would offer to visit them in their home. I can't do that at the moment, so it's all phone calls and Zoom calls or Google Meet calls. And then I would talk to them about where they are in their journey, where the difficulties might lie. I might give them some tips and advice on that. And then I would hopefully signpost them to services that would be of value to them. Now, again, it would depend on what point in their journey they're on. They may be ready for daycare, or they may not be ready for daycare. It might be, you know, they may not feel that daycare would be suitable. But a lot of people, I would always tell them about daycare. And in normal times, whatever they are, we would have daycare centres open and I would explain what goes on there. And I think the daycare centres provide invaluable help because it's a two-strand effect. The person with dementia goes and they get company, they get socialisation, which is very, very important. They get to socialise with people. They meet other people like themselves, so they have peer support. The centres do all kinds of cognitive stimulating activities, which are fun and enjoyable. And the person who is caring for that person gets a break for that day and they can go up and do maybe something for themselves. They may get the shopping in, they may get to work, they may do a number of other things for that day. So the person who's caring for the loved one who has developed dementia gets a break and gets time to themselves, which is invaluable to them. And the person with dementia gets company. They're socializing, which we have recognized as a very important thing for people with dementia. And they're also getting all this cognitive stimulation. It's really therapy, but it appears to be fun and games, really. It could be crosswords, or it could be music, or it could be skittles, or it could be going out into the garden and you know, identifying flowers. It could be reminiscence. And it's done very nicely in the day centres where you don't feel like, oh, here's your therapy. It just feels like you're in company, you're relaxed, and it's done in a very nice way.
And Maeve, you mentioned there the linkage between mental health, physical health, and dementia. And I know you have the three knots in the Alzheimer's Society: the brain, the heart, and the body.
Yeah, the brain, the body, and the heart. And we know to exercise our body. A lot of this stuff, as I say, we know already. We know to eat our fruit and veg. It used to be 5, they've moved it up to 7. What they really mean is 10. And we're not eating enough. And so, but, you know.
I just about have done my 5, Maeve, seriously.
But we all do it, you know. But my advice would be things like stews and soups. You can always, you know, you can add them in there. And if you give it all fruit, there's too much sugar in it, so you have to have the vegetables. But you know, we try to balance out the diet. We have a lovely little booklet here that I would always give out as well. Eating well with dementia.
But the linkage is all there. The
linkage is there. So we know to eat. We know to eat low salt. We know to eat, you know, try and keep the fats under control. We know that. So, but putting it into practice is terribly important.
It is.
So, and to eat as fresh as we can.
Okay.
Then for the body, again, exercise. We know we need to take the exercise. Again, what I would say to people when I go to their homes is, look, you know, your father's 80. He's not going to be able to do what Greg O'Shea does. He's, you know, proportionate. It has to be appropriate. So he might do chair exercises. You know, he might be able to hold on to the back of the chair and move his legs back and forth. You know, the way, you know, there's gentle exercises, but accordingly. So we try, but to try and stay mobile is very, very important because it affects your independence. So to stay mobile, to stay as fit and healthy as you can, obviously. But the thing that a lot of people forget is that our brain is a muscle too. We need to exercise it. So we tend to forget about the brain. So then we come up with reading different types of material, doing crosswords, doing puzzles, word search. If you can, learn a language, music, learn a musical instrument. Singing is very good for the brain. Doing things that you enjoy is very good for your brain because it releases all kinds of lovely, happy hormones. Laughter is very important. I'm always telling people laughter is medicine. So doing things that we enjoy, that make us feel fulfilled, it improves our mood and it helps exercise our brain as well.
Fantastic. And Greg, I'd say an awful lot of that as a pro sports person resonates with you. I mean, the linkage between mental health, physical fitness, is that something that you can see a correlation in?
Yeah, well, I obviously won't try and say I know about the science and medicine behind dementia and how that all works, but just in a general health sense, and you'd probably agree, Sinead, that your mental health is so closely linked to physical activity. I just can't stress it enough. Like I always try and put it out there to my following and stuff, even to my friends personally, and my family. I'm like, you have to move, even if it's just walking down the road and doing 10 squats and coming back up. Like it's just getting the blood flowing, getting the body moving, getting all the right hormones flowing. It's just so much better. I even feel after say a weekend of not doing anything myself personally, I get in a Monday morning and I'm very down in the dumps, I'm grumpy, and then I train and I'm full of life. So it's great. And I think if people that tend to continue that later on in life, I would presume that it's much better for your cognitive ability. You'll know, Maeve, but I think it's just so key to even get moving a little bit every week for everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I'm a firm believer in it. I started getting involved in exercise 10 years ago, primarily for my mental health. I was very stressed in work and with personal circumstances, and it had an immense impact on me. And now it's probably the balance of the physical and the mental. I mean, quite often my kids now who are 9 and 11 will actually say to me, Jesus, Mum, would you just go out for a run because you are wrecking our head. So it's good, you know, they're getting used to the whole balance of it as well. I mean, you mentioned there, Greg, when you don't do exercise for a weekend or whatever, it can impact you. How has COVID impacted you? Presumably you haven't been able to train with the sevens, or
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a different person if I don't train for like 2 days. I just completely mentally different person. I wouldn't even want to talk to me, and then I get moving and I'm great again. So there's obviously something there, and obviously putting your right nutrition and right water in is just puts it all together. But during COVID, so obviously I haven't been able to train with the sevens team. Unfortunately, we won't be back till the start of August, so not too long to go now. But it's been 5 months since we've been together. They've been sending us out full training programs. So we've been running 4 or 5 times a week and gymming 4 or 5 times a week. And to kind of keep camaraderie up, we've been doing Zoom calls like this where we'd all kind of do a hit session. So that's a good way to keep up the camaraderie and the friendship. But I can't wait to get back and see the boys. We're trying to get to the Olympics now next year. So that's kind of the main thing that's focusing everything in right now, is trying to get to the Olympics, because it's the pinnacle of sport, you know.
That's fantastic. And have you qualified yet? Should I know that? You still have to qualify?
We're very close. We've one tournament to win. So there's one spot left out of 12 in the Olympics for sevens rugby. And everyone that's not qualified at the moment plays off to get that one spot next June. So it's all coming down to one weekend. So fingers crossed we can do it for the country and join everyone else that's already qualified, like the Irish hockey girls.
Absolutely. Best of luck on that. Maeve, COVID's obviously had a huge impact on not only the sufferers and the families, but also as a charity. I certainly know my father, the inability, he's in a nursing home, and the inability to see him has really affected him. And one of the key things, important things that we did was try and maintain a routine with him. So set up the phone calls at the same time of the day and night. But how has COVID impacted you as a charity, or has it put more strain on you?
Well, it has, because we've had to invent new ways to try and deliver the services. We cannot physically meet. So, for example, I run 2 Alzheimer cafes. I run one in Dundalk and one in Castleblaney. We cannot physically meet. So what we're doing is we're having virtual cafes now. So I've joined with Drogheda. So Drogheda, Dundalk and Castleblaney have joined together to do the Louth Monaghan Alzheimer Cafe. And that is done in a similar format to this one. Galway are doing one. We have one in Glasnevin, one in Meath, and a southern Alzheimer Cafe. And then the dementia, I can't think of it. Grace Dennison is doing another one, and they do it once a week. And engaging dementia, that's it. Okay. And they do one once a week. And so all these cafes, they are not as good as going out to your usual monthly cafe and meeting and having your coffee and having your chat, but they're an alternative. And at least then, and we, they start off, we have a little bit of, oh, hello, how are you? And people say hello, and they see people they know, and they have that. And that's, it's not the same, but it's inventive. We're trying to invent new ways of delivering that. They're piloting a way of delivering home care or daycare at home in parts of the country as well. So we're trying to find ways. Home care continued throughout the COVID-19.
Yeah.
There's an online support group, for example, that has sprung up for family members. And again, that's something people are missing. They're missing their support groups. Yes. The Forget Me Not Choir is having a choir from home. So an awful lot of we've had to use technology, which was already there, but that we weren't really using. And we've had to try to be inventive and, find ways of getting to people and trying to contact them. A lot of the day centre nurses are ringing their families every week to stay in touch with them. And Society brought out activity packs that can be sent out to families who would normally get daycare, but at least they're now getting the activity packs out to the homes. So there's been a lot of people just frantically trying to find ways of getting help out to people, but it has taken its toll on people's mental health. It has taken its toll on people's dementia, because 86% of family carers have said they can see a decline in their loved one. And I'm hearing it on the phone. They're the calls we're getting in as dementia advisors. These are the calls that are coming in all the time. You could ring somebody and they're ticking along nicely, but we have had a lot of crises. We've had a lot of people in crisis. And there's no, the clinics were all closed. So we're not having people assessed. They're not going back for an assessment when they decline. They're not getting that. We're going to have a huge backlog of people, even diagnosed yet because the clinics weren't open. Now, what they're trying to do it like us. They're trying to do it by phone. It is very, very hard to assess a person with dementia as having dementia over the phone. That is quite a difficult task. So they're struggling a little bit with that. Hopefully the clinics will start opening again and people will start being seen. But again, the services are doing their best to try and get to people, but it has been very limiting.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other obvious side effects from the COVID is, I know from talking to people in the Alzheimer's Society, that you are forecasting your donations will actually be down over €1 million in the year.
Absolutely. I mean, we have, all the centres have little fundraisers all the time. There's raffles, there's, there's runs. They're doing virtual runs. Some of them are now they're doing a Camino around Drogheda. There's lots of different things going on all the time. Our tea day, for example, we had to go to a virtual tea day. People are having tea days for a month on a normal year. And that money comes in. It's a big, big fundraiser. I don't know what's going to happen about Ribbon Day. I organise Ribbon Day in Dundalk. I sort of coordinate that for the society. And I mean, that would be one of our big fundraisers as well. But it's in November. We don't know where we're going to be in November to sell our ribbons. And it is all the charities are in a similar position, but it does make a difference. If someone's having their tea and they invite all their neighbours in for that lovely tea day, you're not going to get the same number of donations if you're not having that social event. So a lot of, again, concerts, we can't have concerts, we can't have plays. I'm involved in drama as a hobby, and I know that there's going to be, we're also, there's nothing this year. So a lot of those would donate as well to given charities. So there's none of that happening. So we're going to be down quite a lot of money this year.
Yeah, so really we can't reiterate enough how important this 5K race is to you as an organisation.
Yes.
And really, I suppose that the plea from Granthornton is that people will sign up and will join. And I know, Greg, as an ambassador to the society, you're very, very much calling on people to sign up and run the race and donate. Yeah,
it'll be a bit of crack as well. Like, do you know what I mean? You go out there, run your 5K and submit your time, and who knows, you could win. Like, it's actually a lot of fun, as well as really helping out Alzheimer's Society of Ireland. And I, just from listening to Maeve there, kind of resonates with me, and yourself, Sinead, you're going through it now. The stress a dementia patient has on the family is just huge, and I could see my aunts and uncles and stuff really kind of getting at each other and stress building. And it's really like the donations go to a great place to take the stress off the families, to take care of these people who are struggling with dementia. So it's really vital. And there's probably no family in Ireland that doesn't know someone that's been affected by dementia. So if you can, get involved, go out there, run a 5K. Everyone was doing it during COVID anyway, so do it again, submit your time, do a donation, and help out. It'd be great. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And the question I have to ask you is, if you're running, which I presume you are, what is your expected time?
Oh, I've only ever done one 5K in my whole life, and it was during COVID.
Okay.
You'll know from all your timing. So I didn't know whether to go fast, go slow. I didn't know what to. I just started running and was looking at my watch. And the first 5K, or the first K, I did it in 25 minutes. And the last K, I did it in 22 minutes. So I was all over the place with my timing. But I came, not 22 minutes, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, for the first K.
Right.
3 minutes and 40 seconds for the last K is what I meant. What is going on?
Jeepers. 3 minutes 40.
Yeah. So I literally sprinted the last case and I went really slow for the first case. So I don't know where. So I'll have to do it again and submit a proper time. And then it came in 22 minutes is what I meant.
22 minutes. So really, you'd need to be pushing for 20 minutes, Greg.
Yeah.
You'd be ashamed with anything less than that or more than that.
The fact I do physical activity for a job and I came in at 22 isn't good. But my timing was all over the place. So.
Very good. Well, I look forward to seeing what you post. Maeve, hopefully you might get some of your colleagues to do the race with us as well. It would be great to see the photos coming in, the videos coming in. I know I will be doing it very proudly for my dad. It is a very debilitating illness, and as you say, Greg, it not only impacts the sufferer the most, but the stress it puts on family. You see your loved one really disappearing before your very eyes, and it's very hard. So what I would say is a heartfelt thanks to you in the Alzheimer's Society for all the help you do give to sufferers and their families, and to you, Greg, for being an ambassador for the charity. I think that just leaves me to say a call to action to everyone watching this. Please sign up to the 5K. The registration link is on the Grant Thornton website. It is primarily in aid of Alzheimer's Society. The money will go to help, as you've heard here, directly the sufferers and the patients. And as Greg said, you might have a bit of crack along the way. So thanks very much, Greg, and thanks, Maeve, and stay well and stay safe. Thanks.
Thanks, Sinead.